Okay, we're probably recording at YouTube, but bear with me. I'm getting it going over on Facebook. So if you want to watch in a little bit, you can do that. So I got to go here to groups because I'm gonna let my other group. Actually, wait. We got to do it like this. No, we got to do it like this. So we got to go to groups. My goodness, got to go to groups. You know, Facebook is literally the worst social media network out there. So then what I got to do is I got to copy this, copy link, and then go to a different group. So I could say, hey guys, I'm really in this group. I'm not in that group. And then there's that. And then I post that there. So they're like, hey, we're supposed to be watching Jake. Why isn't he there? Oh, he's in the new group. Because I decided to make a public group because I'm going to be way more public about this stuff. Hey, show today. Command V, enter. That's how you copy and paste. And so then what we do is we take this feed and then we also copy that and then we send it over here. No, we don't. No, we send it right here. I'm sorry, we send it right here, and then we put that there. So Jacob's currently working with 4 social media sites, and it looks like Emily's here. Maybe, Emily, are you here? Emily, are you here? Emily, can you see me? Can you see me now, Emily? Because now I got to go over to this page, so I know I'm at that page. Close that one right there. And then maybe we're live. Oh my God, we're live. Oh my God, we're live. Hey, Emily. So I'm actually going to go ahead and, one up it. I'm sending you some love. We're also going to go, we're going to be Insta famous. So we're also going to stream to Instagram. So I'm going to put my phone in airplane mode. So in case anybody calls, I can say, no, I'm doing a show with Emily today. And maybe Ray Ray. What's Ray Ray doing now? I heard Ray. I heard you ain't doing no work no more. So how do I go, my story, reels, do I go, would you stop sending me titties and ass? Jesus, all it is, all Instagram is like, hey, you guys remember titties? And I'm like, hey, yeah, hey, what up? I remember those. She's working student loan forgiveness. Get it on the Instagram. It's a bomb job. Oh, she's working for student loan forgiveness. Oh, okay, maybe. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to forgive anybody for student loans. I'm actually trying to find a good filter because I haven't figured out how to do this Insta chat. I got mood sparkles. Got some mood sparkles. But it's not sparkling, Emily. I might have to just do fisheye. Or whatever this is. That's not too bad. But it looks like those are my 2 options. Oh wait, I can do chanting. There's sparkly. There's refreshing. Why is this so bad? Emily, why is Instagram sucking so bad? Actually, I know exactly why it's sucking so bad. It's because, it's just where we're at in technology right now. It's all got to be bad. So, going to do this, and then, don't worry, Insta, Face, Telegram, YouTube people. We're going to have a show soon. And you know what kind of show we're going to have? We're going to have a show that a long time ago would have gotten me canceled. Like 3 years ago, I could have said all this stuff, and people would have been like, oh my God, Jacob's... He's so bad. But in fact, he's not that bad. He's right about everything. You can ask Emily about it. Oh my God, Bree's here. What up, Bree? We need to talk or hang out or go visit or something. But basically, I just slog along with every single day, and I'm like, oh, this is going on. This is 2023. Okay, so I'm going to press record. I think I'm pressing record. Is that checking connection? Do I press? Okay, press record. Okay, maybe it's because... Is it because I'm in airplane mode, Ray Ray? Ray Ray's not here. How about Emily? Is it because I'm in airplane... Okay, so I'm going to turn off airplane mode. Oh my God, a new comment. Is my thing taken off? Dang, now I gotta push the picture. So Bree, if you want to talk about anything, Bree, holy crap, I have so many more filters, man. I guess it's because I didn't have an internet connection. So there's a little sparkly Jacob. Okay, we gotta pick a good filter, everybody. We got that glow, we got that lush. I don't want that. That's pretty cute. That's too spooky. It's too spooky. This one's pretty cute. Maybe we'll do this. This is like the begin. Remember at the beginning of the, the whatever. Oh my God, Jesus! I look like an anonymous video. Like, look at I can't even show. It's too freaky. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking. It's look at that. Look what that does. It's like that, but imagine if that was your face, and so it looks like a propaganda video of like, we've taken your family and you have 3 days to. It's one of those. So, anyways, we're not going to do any of that because we don't take no families. Actually, I kind of like that gray. That gray looks good. That looks good, but maybe we need different. Hey, guys should talk to you guys. So please, comments for the show. It's kind of a shoot from the hip show, although actually I have a bunch of stuff, Brie. I actually have a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it's just going to be watching like Scott Adams offend a bunch of people. I think we're going to go with Chibi Sparkles. We're going to do Chibi Sparkles for today. 5 minutes into the show. Okay, yeah, no, then go like that. What? Why isn't Chibi Spark? What? Emily, discard media. Discard this. No, it's not right. It's not right. So technical difficulties, everybody. Let me know what you want to know. Discard. Yes, discard. And go back. Just let me go back. Instagram. God damn it, Zuckerberg. It all sucks so bad. Hey, thanks for sticking with me. Hey, I'd love to do a show for you. Hey, holler at your boy. Hey. Now where's Chibi Sparkles? There's Chibi Sparkles. We're going to do some of that. We're back. Then we press connect. Checking connection. Positive sign. I'm now live on Instagram. Hey, Instagram. Hey. Look at these sparkles. Eventually I'll figure out how to use the green screen, but I'm not going to do that today. So, Bree, Emily, we're back. We're ready to do a show. So, Instagram people, I'm going to do a quick introduction to the Instagram people because they're special, because we normally don't go on Instagram. Because Instagram is typically like not my audience. I don't really like Instagram, but people are like, oh, it's got pictures on it. It's the best. It's just pictures. Nobody fights with pictures. And I'm like, no, remember, they fought in 2020 with just pictures. I assure you. But anyway, so Instagram people, my name is Jacob Robertson. And also people on YouTube and Facebook and every other place you can find Jacob. My name is Jacob Robertson. I'm a real estate agent in the Pacific Northwest. If you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, call me. Holler at your boy. I also do a show where I say things and then people get really mad at me, and then 3 years later I'm proven right, and then they don't say anything. So that's what I do for a living. I'm right and I don't get paid for it. But now I'm writing, and I got a big Substack. You can find me at Jacob Robertson Substack, or This Is Going to Hurt You More Than Me. And actually, I'm going to be honest, it's pretty awesome, and I think I got to Substack at the right time. I think I'm early to that ship. Because if you know the article, Bree would know this. Bree, did you read the article from that guy who said that the United States blew up the Nord Stream pipeline? Do you know which one I'm talking about? Bree, in the comments, if you know what I'm talking about. And then see where I sort of stepped in it on Twitter today. Actually, I'm just sort of stepping in it anywhere because I've decided to stop. So here's something that I've discovered, and actually we'll talk about it. We're going to go into the grift is real pretty soon, and I'm going to do some grifting, and you're going to do some grifting, and we're all going to grift. We're all going to be really big, great grifters, and make sure it don't look right, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, because I got to do my show, Emily. So anything you guys want to talk about, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to sort of jump into it. I was going to wait for Scott. Maybe we'll just jump into it. So, Remember how people have been concerned about the words that they use and like, I might offend somebody if I say this, or I don't want to step on their trans rights, or I don't want to step on their race rights, or I don't want to step on their economic rights, or I don't want the blah, 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 blah. We're all getting turned into boomers right now, immediately. We're all going to be that racist boomer real soon. And so Scott Adams brought that to our attention with his show recently. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of that Scott Adams. I'm going to play the Scott Adams rant that went viral, and then we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to talk about some other stuff. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Are we ready? Because man, did he piss some people off, and it was a big troll. Like, if we're being honest, like, Scott Adams is a smart guy. So if you see him say something that's really controversial, and you're like, "Whoa, look at this, Scott Adams, that's pretty controversial." It's like it's loaded. It's like it's a trap. It's a trap. Let me see. Was it this one? Is it this one? Maybe it's this one. I think it's this one, Emily.
If you have a utility meter like this on the side of your house, you could get paid.
I don't have that, lady.
And welcome to the highlight of, because she's black, do it. You know you want to. Anyway, so yeah, Trump would get 52% in the primary. As long ago as 3 years ago, I believe, started offering to Eric.
And never mind, not that one. So maybe it's a little bit more. So first we go here. I'll show you ladies what I'm looking at, okay? So sorry there. Oh, display capture, So we're at YouTube. And hey, if you're like streaming, by the way, and you have to figure out like how to stream and what you're streaming and how you're doing and whatever, having a kid's great for it. So like as an example, I have a kid, and what I do when I don't know what to say to my kid so I can help improve her language skills is just narrate. And you can just narrate what you're doing, and then that fills the airtime. So it's like, oh, I'm looking on YouTube with Scott Adams stuff and going here. Was it this one? Maybe it was this one.
Scott Adams is the finest thing that's ever happened. And Biden was a new. We're running out of food, a super. That's like a real poll.
Okay, yeah, this is it. So here we go. We're going to back up a little bit. And Scott Adams is really good at this. So just there's going to be a lot of technique here, but something Scott Adams does is he always looks down when he's going into his next segment and he's reading his next thing. That actually cues the commercials for him. So his commercial breaks always are in alignment with him looking down.
If we know or we don't know if they were planning a test, normally would do, which would be scared to death that I'm going to get nuked. Am I just used to it? You know what it might be? It might be alarm leadership, right? And if you're dropping a nuclear bomb.
This was actually a pretty good segment, by the way. So something he was talking about was, and this is, what episode is that? Like a couple days ago. So episode 2027, which is, we're at the highest risk of nuclear war ever, or at least in our lifetimes, and nobody cares. And we should care, but nobody cares. And so his idea is that we just have like alarm fatigue, like the alarm bell has been rung so many times, we just don't care anymore.
You just sort of have to know what city he's in.
I know he's talking about, hey, we could just nuke...
We think he's in this city, so we'll just...
He can nuke Putin to deal with Putin.
I don't know. I don't even want to think about it because it's so awful.
But let's go ahead and... I'm going to let this play.
Well, Rasmussen poll had a... provocative little poll
like 7
today.
Minutes.
They said, do you agree or disagree with the statement, it's okay to be white?
So real quick, before we get into that, I did a poll on Twitter. So I'm going to go to my Twitter account to show you why I'm talking about this. So I did... Wait for it. Should we grift off of Scott Adams? And so I am at 75%. So the vast majority of my 4 votes say that I should grift off of this. So it's okay for me to talk about Scott Adams because people said I should. Grifting is talking about the current thing, by the way. I'm sure Tim Pool will have a show about it tonight.
Because it's so awful. Well, Rasmussen poll had a provocative little poll today. They said, do you agree or disagree with the statement, it's okay to be white? That was an actual question. Rasmussen asked, white and black voters, and probably others, do you disagree or agree with the statement, it's okay to be white? 26% of blacks said, no. It's not okay to be white.
A quarter?
21% weren't sure. Add them together, that is 47% of black respondents were not willing to say it's okay to be white.
WTF? WTF 50% rare.
That's like a real poll. This just happened. Did you have any idea? Would you have imagined that could have happened?
Yes, I could have, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
So I realized, as you know, I've been identifying as black for a while, years now, because I like to be on the winning team, and I like to help. And I always thought, well, if you help the black community, that's sort of the biggest lever. You can find the biggest benefit. So I thought, well, that's the hardest thing and the biggest benefit. So I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as black to just be on the team I was helping. But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think I'm okay to be white, which is, of course, why I identified as black, so I could be on the winning team for a while. But I have to say, this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities.
So I'm going to make some notes and then I'll comment on everything.
I don't know that that's ever happened before. Normally you see a poll, you just look at it, you go, whatever. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them.
God, Bree, I hope you're still
And
here.
I would say, based on
Bree,
the
are you
current
here?
way things are going, the
Say
best
hi.
advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go,
Not my swear
just
word.
get away. Because there's no
Zuckerberg.
fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon,
He did,
sees
literally.
a
Don
big
Lemon
difference
had a big rant about black people.
in your own quality of living based on
Like
where
10
you
years
live
ago.
and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse. And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to black America because it doesn't seem like it pays off. Like I've been doing it all my life, and the only outcome is I get called a racist. That's the only outcome. It makes no sense to help black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. Now we should be friendly. Like I'm not saying start a war or
Hey, blacks.
do anything bad.
Hey.
Nothing like that.
Hey.
I'm just saying get away. Just get away. And here's my take on all of it. Everybody who focuses their priority on education does well. If anybody in the black community focuses on education, they'll do well as well, because the system allows that.
You guys see that? It's putting
If they
makeup on him.
don't, I can't make that my problem anymore. It just can't be my problem.
Oh, but you guys see how messed
It
up my
can't be
desk
my
is?
problem if the solution is so clear,
I have like a million.
so
I'm so
available, and people don't want to take it. It's just not my problem anymore. So I resigned. I resigned from the hate group called Black Americans, according to the Rasmussen poll. 46% of them don't think white people are okay, just being white. And there we go. You didn't expect that today, did you?
I was shocked.
But the most helpful thing I can do
I was actually
is
listening
to
to a
say I'm
show
not
and I was
going to
like,
help.
whoa.
Do you understand that?
Whoa.
Continuing to help in that sort of, classic, oh, let me help you, give you, a lift up, give you a hand, mentor you, hire you,
Emily, we got to talk about that one too.
prefer you. I'm going to stop all of that. I'm done with all of that. Yeah, no, it didn't work. The only thing that will work is to say, you got to fix your own problem. You know how to do it. Everybody else figured it out. I'm not going to speculate, why you're not doing it. I'm not going to speculate why there's a difference. I'm just going to say it's available to everybody. Just pick it up. It's free money. Focus on education, and you could have a good life too. But those who don't want to focus on education, you just need to get away from them. Just get as much distance as you can.
I have really
That's
long
my
eyelashes.
recommendation. And I'm also really sick of seeing video after video of Black Americans beating up non-Black citizens. I realize it's anecdotal, and it doesn't give me a full picture of what's happening. But every damn day I look on social media and there's some Black person beating the shit out of some white person. I'm kind of over it. I'm over it, right? So I quit. And it feels good not to be in a racist hate group anymore. So I'm now independent, not a member of any group. I do not align with any group, not the white supremacists and not the Black racists.
Here are three of the...
See, look at the timestamp on that. That's pretty great. Now, I am going to Hotep Jesus. Now, Hotep Jesus and Scott Adams know each other quite well. And Hotep, maybe I guess it'll be home right here. I guess it's under live.
You hear a lot of people...
So there it is. So Hotep Jesus... You go to his YouTube channel, Is It Okay to Be White? Scott Adams response call-in show. It's an hour and 13 minutes. It made me laugh out loud. Because, let's get real, Scott Adams is doing what you might call a troll. It's not really S-posting. It's not him just, grifting or trying to get a show. Scott Adams is raising up some, I wouldn't say bringing up important points, but he is cluing some people in. So what I'm going to do is go to my face, and if you guys want to talk about anything, please chat. And if you want to better chat, go to YouTube. I think is YouTube better, Emily? Is it anybody that's still there? If you're making comments, I can't see them. So anyways, so I'm going to go to my notes. So, let me see. I'll just go down in order. So the first thing that Scott Adams is doing is, so he started with I'm going to identify as Black. I'm now Black. And he did that in 2020. We'll get to 2020 in a second. He did that in 2020 when he realized, everybody's identifying as whatever, so I get to identify as whatever victim group or whatever, so I now identify as a Black woman. And then it was probably a Black lesbian woman for a little while. So he can go ahead and get those points. And so he would speak as a minority, as a, protected minority. My opinion is XYZ, and that's because I identify as XYZ. So one of the best ways to destroy, somebody with a dumb argument is to just mock him. And so it's agreeing to the extreme degree. It's just it's not just that I'm in favor of reparations, it's that I'm in favor of reparations for everybody who identifies as Black, and I identify as Black. Where's my reparations for what happened to me, a Black person? And then I'm just doing this off the like, you know, off the cap. And so it's like, oh, well, you know, who are you to say that I didn't suffer from slavery? I identify as black, and every black person suffered from slavery. Oh, you mean I wasn't directly affected? You mean I wasn't a slave? Neither were you. So you want to go there? That's what Scott Adams is doing. And he does it really, really well. And so that's part of it. And so it's like, you know, bringing attention to this is the way that he's doing it. So it's like, so it's also the way that the math. Let's talk about polls first. So if you know me well at all, I don't trust polls. I don't trust polls. I don't trust polls, even remotely a little bit at all. I don't trust polls. Because I believe that polls are used to shape perception and make people believe things more than they are to get like a read of the room. So there's that. And I'm actually going to go to a Hotep Jesus point real quickly, which is if like, so, you know, we're aware, like, and so if you're new to my show, I talk about propaganda and brainwashing all the time because we're in the most like propagandized, brainwashed society on the planet, except for maybe like North Korea. Like the amount of brainwashing that Americans and propaganda Americans are subjected to is crazy. Like I started looking at it, I was like, oh my God, the rest of the world isn't like that. Oh my God. It's pretty bad, guys. So anyways, propaganda, blah, 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 blah. And so Hotep Jesus's argument is that, well, you know, of course well, number one, polls are pretty, you know, they're weaselly. So how do you phrase the poll? Like, what does it mean to be okay to be white or whatever, like, however the question was phrased. So, you know, how do people interpret that? But then also, like, if you listen to all the anti-white propaganda in this country that has been going on for years and years, more than a decade of anti-white propaganda in this country. Because let's just call it what it is. So like the, you know, oh, you're a white supremacist. You're doing so good because of your white privilege. Brahmin Indian millionaires are telling toothless white people living in trailers that they have a bunch of privilege. Like, it's just a preposterous argument. So anyways, we've been fed with this, like, you know, racist stuff. And then, of course, half of black people are going to have a bad opinion of white people. It's like, it's the soup that they swim in. It's just the cultural indoctrination and propaganda that we're fed all the time. So, of course, people would have feelings like that. So that was part of Hotep's argument. Hotep's, it's a pretty good video. I don't want to ruin it. You should watch it. It's funny. And literally, it made me laugh out loud. But then we also have hate groups. So it's just like, you know, if it's, you know, any, like, let's just say there's any group, it's like, oh man, you know, the bikers, the bike legion that I'm a part of, half of them are in the KKK. Oh, half of them are in the KKK. Maybe I shouldn't be a part of that group. Because half of them are a bunch of racists. And so Scott Adams is just like, oh, you should just get away from all the racists. Oh, half of the black people is, oh, I should just get away from black people. Ha ha ha. And so that's his point. And then also focusing on education. Ha ha ha. That's the solution. Like, everybody knows the solution. It's, we got to do a better job raising kids. We got to do a better job educating kids. If we do a better job raising and educating kids, this whole society thing's going to work out well. It's another part of it. And then when he brought in Don Lemon, Don Lemon did a rant on CNN a long time ago where he's like, black people, you need to pull up your pants. Do you know why they pull, like, their pants are low? It's a prison thing. And you know the lower your pants are, that means you're a bottom, right? Like, if your pants are really low, that means, like, guys do you. And you know what else Don Lemon says? In my white neighborhood, there's no trash. When I was living in the black neighborhood, there was trash everywhere. So pick up your trash. Pick up your pants and pick up your trash, black America. Jesus. That was Don Lemon. On CNN. He was actually on CNN talking like this, and then, whoa, the narrative changed. Donald Trump became president. Whoa, we have to suddenly, like, pretend everything is a bunch of crap, and so we have to believe a bunch of lies because Trump got elected. And so, anyway, and so it's like we have to, like, re-engineer society. We have to re-engineer, like, all these people who think you need to, like, we need to re-educate the Russians. Like, we're going to go over to Russia and be like, hey, Russia, we're going to culturally genocide you because we think that's what you should do, Russia, over there. We're going to culture it. We're going to go to your country and completely erase your culture. people think it works, and so it's just like we're gonna just go ahead and do the same thing to a bunch of, like, I don't know, white or brown or whatever Americans. Like, it's preposterous. Getting people to change their stripes. You don't get a tiger to change its stripes, okay? Once a human being's done, like, you can't get rid of human nature, okay? You can't. We've tried for hundreds and hundreds of years. It don't go nowhere. It's all done. Brian Clark's in the house. What up, dog? What up, dog? What up, Brian? You found me. You found me because I'm in, like, all these different places. Like, I'm in my Facebook group. I'm in my YouTube channel. I'm in my chat. I'm on Twitter. I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram. Brian, anything you want to talk about, let me know. You missed the beginning of the show, which was Scott Adams' giant racist rant, which is just funny. It's funny. And so then he talked about some stuff, and this is actually, I'm going to get pretty simple here. So I do have one for Emily, and then I got another thing, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But again, you guys, anything you want to talk about, let me know. But I do have a show for you, but I would love your feedback too. It's pretty funny, Brian. Or you could also just watch, like, Scott Adams from 2 days ago, so I'm going to say his Wednesday episode, and then, yeah, you could just catch the beginning, I guess. You could watch the beginning of the show too. And then it's Hotep Jesus' response to it, which was over an hour long. It's like 75 minutes. So I didn't play that, but it's funny. It's hilarious. Listen to Hotep talk about it. Or listen to a Hotep talk about it. Hoteps are great. Like, they're like, and Brian actually, he likes them too. I'm a big fan of the Hoteps. Like, I would love to meet some in real life and be like, man, you guys are so based. If you don't know who the Hotep community, it's a black community of dudes who are just like, this is all BS. Like, I would have to say that that's probably, like, a foundational thing of being a Hotep is you have to come out and say, all of this is garbage. And so then I'll get my Hotep Nation hat. And me and Brian will rock out with Hotep and Uncle Hotep, and we'll get all Hotep. I'm going back. You guys remember when I got all Hotep in 2020? It's back. It's back. I'm black again. Jacob is back in black. So, Emily, remember when I was talking about, like, tar babies? And so, it's I'm just going to go ahead and piss everybody off. So I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. So if you have a community that's high crime, get away from the high crime community, okay? That's basically what Scott Adams is saying. And so if you look at, like, inner city black community, and they don't, so, like, Emily's in St. Louis, you don't go to East St. Louis if you're white unless you want to die, okay? So let's just say you're white in East St. Louis, you should probably leave that area. And actually, if you're law-abiding and you're in the ghetto and you're black, you should probably leave that area. Like, you should get away from the criminals. That's what he's saying. Remember when you were talking about that friend, or asking about that friend who isn't really a friend? They're more like a frenemy, and they make you feel bad about things, and they're always undercutting you and blah, 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 blah. You can't fix it, Emily. You can't fix it. You can't fix that friend. You can't fix that friend. I can't fix the black community. We're out. We out. We out. We out. We out. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I did my show. Like, Ray can attest. I do my show. And so I'm like, hey, guys, you're being manipulated by all this stuff in 2020. You should just go ahead and stop drinking and get your life together. And please, don't listen to this. They're just trying to make you burn down your neighborhoods. Or, like, actually, really, in 2020, it's like, there's a bunch of white people who are coming to burn down your neighborhoods. Blacks, you better run. And go to school. Anyways, but, like, I don't know. Is that my point? Does that make sense? So, like, I can do things for my show where I'm like, blah, 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 but I'm in Washington. There's not going to be a whole lot of black outreach. And I see Bree's back. Hey, Bree, how did it work when you got away from the blacks on the bus attacking you in 2020? Bree was in the middle of all the crazy stuff. She can attest to it, and she left. And you know what? It got better when she left. So, get out of the hood. If things are bad, get out of Dodge. You can come back when they're better. Move to a nice gay hood. Just maybe not, Capitol Hill. What else? And so then he finally talked about white on black crime. And I'm going to show you something just to, like, just show you something, I guess. Okay, so we're going to go blah, blah, blah. And so we're going to go here, and then we're going to say white attacked by black. Okay, so I don't know what that's going to show. Okay, defends black woman from... Okay, blah, 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 blah. There's white girls getting beaten up by black girl. There's the bystander generally terrifying. School fights. Poor white guy being attacked because he doesn't want to be racist. Anyways, my point is that you could just find so much of this stuff. Now, like, Twitter's probably going to filter some of it because of what I'm, like, they got to filter it. But, oh yeah, no, there's a group of black people on ATVs in the city attacking random couples. So if you see people on dirt bikes and ATVs in cities, you should get away from them very quickly. They're actually really bad, dangerous people. But here's my point, and I'll get to it after Brian's comment. I've been in this space for a bit, work on self and those that aren't just there to argue and disagree with everything, toxic drain. Yeah. Yep. If you help people who want to be helped and don't help people that don't want to be helped. And I'm going to change my Facebook or my Twitter thingy so I'm not looking at a bunch of racist stuff, race baiting stuff. So if you're on Twitter, where the news comes from, every single, and I've had to alter my feed, and this is something that you might all want to consider. I block street fights. So if there's something that's like a street fight, there's like certain accounts that do it, like Fight Haven is a big one. If you want to watch a bunch of free street fights, you can go to Fight Haven. But I stopped watching it because I live in a small town in the Pacific Northwest, okay? Like, these aren't my problems. Like, the problems that Twitter is sending to me aren't real, and I'm reacting to those problems like they are real, and that's the problem with the internet and, just mass media in general, is you'll see something, and then your reality simulator, your brain, is going to take those images that are going into it, and then, like, it's going to take what you're viewing, and then it's going to put that into your brain, and then it's going to reconstruct your reality to where the things that are going into your eyeballs is real. So all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, the blacks are going to get me. And then Bree can be like, what blacks? You're in Bellingham. And I'll be like, the ones from Twitter. Bree, Jesus. Oh my, I got coffee on my hands, Bree. And Bree, why aren't you talking to me? Get on the YouTube channel. Do you need a link? Bree, text me. Bree, where are you, Bree? I miss you, Bree. I miss your cousin Bree. Here, I'm gonna even share the YouTube linky here. See, there's copy that. There you go. There's that for you, Bree. If that's a better viewing experience, because I want to be here for you. Let me see. So where were we? A bunch of stuff. Oh, the hallucination. So I blocked it, and so then it's also like I don't want to see kids get beaten up. So there was like this kid who got pummeled on a bus by this gigantic black kid, and I'm like, I don't need to see that. Swipe, because I don't want to see people getting beaten up. Like, I don't want to look at violence, but the feed's always feeding violence because violence is what gets the clicks or whatever. That's part of it. Now, what I also think is happening is that our algorithms have been hacked and manipulated, and whoever's doing that is trying to trigger loosely speaking, a race war between blacks and whites. Or they just want to get blacks and whites pissed off at each other. And if I can just show you something real quickly to give you an idea of just how bad Scott Adams, 11,000 tweets. Scott Adams is the thing that is trending on Twitter besides Portland. That's funny. That's really funny. Good for Scott Adams. Excellent grift, Scott Adams. I applaud you. Although he grifts with a purpose. So Scott Adams is kind of like in the community of us live streamers. He's one of the. He's at the top. He's in the top 10. I put him above Tim Pool. Although Tim Pool's grift is amazing. Like, actually, Tim Pool's in the top 10 too. Tim Pool is like an amazing grifter. Good for Tim. But where was I going with this? This stuff into your brain. Oh, somebody's trying to make black people and white people hate each other again. It's almost like clockwork. Like, now they're starting early, so they start in the beginning of 2022 or 2023, which, that's a long lead time for an election. So I'm thinking maybe they're going to try to pop something off this year, okay? I think they're going to try to get riots going again because people are pretty bored, okay? Ukraine's not that exciting. Now, the fight, like if you're in a Telegram channel looking at the war in Ukraine, man, that is some exciting stuff. I don't watch because I don't want to watch people get murdered and killed and die in war and have blown apart. But if you're looking for a rush, go check out the Ukrainian and Russian freaking Telegram channels. and watch some live footage of like, real war, not the kind of stuff that we just spent in the 20 years doing in the Middle East. Like, this is like, artillery, boom, 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 thousands of people dying a day kind of war. Okay, it's a real war. What's happening in Ukraine and Russia is a real war. Don't need that going into my brain. But the people are like, they're like, oh. Am I really supposed to care that much? And so I think in order to have some form of big grift and, big money-making scheme before the people realize that the COVID thing was a giant hoax. And not saying that, COVID, we've talked COVID into the ground, but for anybody who's new, I'm just like, hey, if you're fat and old, maybe stay inside. Immune compromised. Myself included. I got vaccinated because I'm fat. Okay? Fat over 40, I'm going to take a jabby. I'm not going to take other ones, or boosters, but whatever. Whatever. The COVID thing was vastly overblown. We knew that. And so it's going to, people are going to realize just, how badly they've been scammed now that $5 trillion or whatever will already be gone by the time this happens, Brian. But they're going to try and get some more money out of this. I think that, squeeze a little bit of more money before, the people pick up the pitchforks and torches. So that's what I think's going on. And also, just to distract people, if you get the white people and the black people fighting all the time, they're not going to worry about the 2 million people crossing the border illegally every single year. That means by the end of Biden's term, the population of the United States will increase by 8 million people who are here illegally. But and you could say whatever you want to about that, but that's extra. That's 8 million people extra going to hospitals. That's 8 million extra people going into the school systems. You think your classroom sizes are too small right now? Oh, or too big right now? Add 8 million people to the system, okay? ERs are fuller. Add them to the roads. Add them to housing. Add them to housing. Oh my God, the houses are so expensive. What should we do to lower the prices of housing? Let's bring in millions more people, because that doesn't include the people who are legally coming to the United States, which is probably 1 million a year. So our population is going to increase by 12 million people during the Biden administration. What is going on is white people, indigenous white people, and black people, and the indigenous Americans were already replaced, but we're going through we're going through a situation where we are being displaced by a bunch of immigrants. Like, the immigrants are going to come in here. A lot of them have great jobs. Great education and background. Like, the hardest working, most privileged people in the world are dying to come into the United States. The hardest working people. And so we're going to be competing in the job market against people who went from the tip of South America and walked all the... It's context. But walked all the way to America and then got across the border. I don't want to compete against that. Like, Jesus, that guy's going to cold call way more than I am. In fact, you could tell me, Jesus, you could just do a bunch of cold calling and you could be a millionaire and be like, oh, Jess, yeah. No, if I could hire people, I would hire, literally, I would hire a bunch of single moms from Central America, South America. That'd be my team. That come join the Jacob team and be like, oh, hola, ¿cómo estás? And be like, okay, guys, we're really going to work on the English, but man, your work ethic is so awesome. Just go out there. You're going to go ahead and get deals anyways. And so I'd send them off, and then they go make me a bunch of money, and I'd be like, man, I understand why corporations love this stuff. This is awesome. These people work so hard. So anyways, and I think that's a big chunk of the distraction. And I'm going to go ahead. Jesus, I might as well just get totally canceled. I'm not going to have a problem with it too much. You know why? Because what am I going to do about it? I'm not going to sit here and get mad. I'm going to sit here and get mad over what's happening on the southern border. I can't do anything, Brian. It's the same thing with the black community. What I mean, I'll do my show and I'll talk to people and be like, hey, I understand that you love them, whatever, but there's consequences to that. And they're going to be like, oh, there's consequences? I didn't know there were consequences. Be like, yeah, they're called second and third order effects. You should learn about them. Jesus Christ. But I'm not going to get all upset about it. Okay. I'm just not, because I've got my life to live. I got my kid. I got another kid on the way. I got my wife. I got whatever. I have a pretty good life. And you know what? America is going to turn into something different. It's going to be like America 2. It's still going to be America. It's okay. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the awesomest place. But if you're going to be romancing the past, you're done. Like, if you're going to be like, oh, this is not the America I grew up in. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not. It's already been broken. There's no going back. There's going to be no going back. However, we could have something where there is an awesome future, okay? So I don't have a good example for what I'm talking about here beyond, like, I'm sure people thought England was the pinnacle. They're like, England's so great. Sun never sets on the English Empire. England's so fantastic, great, blah, 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 blah. And then some people are like, oh my God, look at this United States thing. We'll go check out the United States. And people are like, oh my God, the United States is so great and amazing and blah, 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 blah. And they're going to look at the English Empire like, there's some good things about it, but there was also, the English did some bad things. And so it's going to be kind of the same thing. Kind of. And I also think that, like, I think there's going to be some stuff that gets better. I'm going to read Brian's comment in a second. I think our food supply is going to get better. I think our healthcare is going to get better. So, like, with all this stuff that's breaking down over COVID, like, we saw how so many systems are broken. Like, healthcare is broken, insurance is broken, government's broken, media is broken, social media is broken, banking's broken, race relations are broken. All this stuff's broken. That we're going to be able to actually fix it now. So we're going to fix it, and we're going to fix all these problems, and by the time we fix the problems, like, America will already have been changed. It's not like we're going to kick out all the, Latin Americans and Asians that are coming to this country. We're not going to kick them out, and then they'll be like, oh, they're here, but hey, at least they're working hard and have some degrees. Maybe there'll be some good competition for the indigenous Americans who are just going to be busy playing video games and smoking weed. Sorry, I'm going to read Brian's comment and move on. It's so hard not to be angry at the southern border, but I definitely understand. I can't do anything about it. Yeah, it's what makes me angry about it is all the suffer. There's actually a million things that make me angry about it, Brian. Like, I'm so pissed off about it. The cruelty of it is unbelievable. It's like, oh, we're going to go ahead and make things nice and wonderful for the migrants. It's like, that trips hell. That trips hell. Kids die on it all the time. Kids die and get raped on the freaking pilgrimage to the United States. Women too, probably guys as well. And then they get exploited by the freaking coyotes and the cartels, paying like $15,000 to get across the border or something like that. And so, like, all the people are sending, like, the people who are, like, helping all the people get into the United States are also, like, they're making a lot of money, and then they're sending fentanyl to them. So I think part of this is also a cartel problem. And I'll go ahead and just throw it out there. The United States needs to declare war on the cartels. Just declare war on them. Maybe Mexico as a whole. Here's an America thing that you're not going to like. You're not going to like this. 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 But hear me out. I think we're going to... I think a possible American future is the North American Empire. So the United States just gobbles up Canada, Mexico, and says, we're the government now. Better fall in line. That's a real future. That's a real possible future. Do you think the United States could take over Canada and Mexico if it wanted? Do you think it would do it just to get all the resources up in Canada, kick the Chinese out of it, and then also stomp the cartels into the ground? And also control the Guatemalan border? You have a border this big versus a border this big? And Brian Clark says, unfortunately agree. And the problem is then we stop going from the Republic of the United States to the Empire of the United States. But I would take the Empire of the United States as opposed to the Chinese Empire or the No Empire or the No United States. I'm sorry, everybody. I tried. I tried to get all of you to stop years ago, but you wouldn't listen to me. Wouldn't listen to me. I said, don't trust this Obama guy. Don't trust Bush. Don't trust Obama. But nope. Nope. And so we're here. And that's fine. I'm going to move on with my show. Because we covered... How was that Scott Adams hour? How long was that? Jesus. What time is it? I need to go eat something. I'm pretty hungry. We got that action. Okay, whatever. 49 minutes. Jesus, Brian, man. And Bree and Emily, you're also welcome to comment at any point. But it looks like you might be gone. Bree and Emily are gone, Brian. It looks like it's just our show. It's just you and me now. What do we got? So we have Zelensky talking about things. And actually, let me go to... Emily, if you're here, we'll get back to your chunk of the show, but you got to talk to me first. Otherwise, I'm not going to care. So, Brian, let's go back to... actually, I'm going to check my things to see whatever is going on. AI just destroyed the whole music industry. I don't even... What? Sorry, I accidentally got in a fight with trans Twitter, I guess. Because all I did was... Jesus, Brian. Do we need it? Should we talk about, like, conservative gossip? Which is just the dumbest thing in the world. Actually, I'm going to talk about the shift. I'm going to talk about a shift, and then I'll get to it real quickly. Okay, so... You know, everybody's been like, "Oh my God, the crazy left and the crazy." Actually, I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to wait. I'm going to move on to the next thing, and then we'll talk about, you know, the crazy left and us principled conservatives who don't win elections. So we're going to do Zelensky. You know what kind of sucks about Zelensky is the guy's name is spelled so many different ways that you're like, wait, what? Did I get the VM at ChatGPT and universities? Did I get the voicemail? Not sure what you're asking, Brian. Could you ask another way? Zelensky, China. Zelensky. I did not get a voicemail at ChatGPT in the universities. It was on Facebook. I did not. Oh, you sent me a voicemail. I have not listened to the voicemail. I could. Voice message. It's voice message. I have not listened to it, Brian. My day has been a cluster F. Like, just so you guys know, if you guys send me something, like, it takes me days to get it, and sometimes I just don't even see it. No offense. It's just my life. So let's go ahead and hear, and it's already gone because the news has moved on. So I guess I'll go with I don't know what he just said. This is breaking. Ukraine President Zelensky says he plans to meet with Xi Jinping. Which if Xi Jinping organizes a peace deal between the Russians and the Ukrainians, I will laugh all the way to my grave. Okay. So man. News goes so fast. This is already ruining my show, Brian. But let's see right here. I don't understand why. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about Twitter right now. To explain. Zelensky has absolutely no right to threaten World War III if China provides lethal assistance. So that's where we're going to go from there. Going to get to Brian in a second. So what happened in regards to Vladimir Zelensky is there's a guy from Wagner. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. So the Wagner group being private military contractors. Wagner are bad dudes. They're ex-special forces guys that are now mercenaries. That's what Wagner is, okay? And so there was a guy from Wagner showing a pile of his corpses, of his soldiers, and he's like, this is because we don't have enough ammo. Which is the kind of propaganda you don't want in Russia if you're fighting a war, and you're just like, oh, a whole bunch of Russians are dying because we don't have enough bullets. And so the problem, allegedly, is that there isn't enough bullets, there's not enough artillery shells, and there's not enough barrels. So the thing is, when you have like a big artillery, like the big Russian artillery, kabong, kabong, like you have the barrel of the whatever. But man, there's like, trillions of tons of pounds pressure and fire and all kinds of stuff going through those barrels. It's like boom, 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 and it warps the barrels. And so they have to throw the barrels to the side, okay? And they don't have enough barrels. They're in the middle of a bar. And the United States cut them off pretty bad, and the sanctions are pretty aggressive. And so it's like, oh, we don't have enough bullets and barrels and artillery. And so there was a talk about the Chinese arming the Russians. Okay, the Russian, and so Vladimir Zelensky said, if China arms the Russians, it's World War III. It's like, oh, your country hasn't been devastated enough. You want to start World War III over this stuff? Really? You want to go there? You want to go there? And so, like, Vladimir Zelensky he's threatened, like, nuclear war. He's threatened World War III. He's a bad guy. Like, I don't know what the hell I have to do to convince you people that this is a bad person. Okay? He's a really bad person. History is going to regard Vladimir Zelensky as a real bad guy, even though they're like, oh, he's the greatest hero of whatever, and the whole narrative is going to collapse, and nobody's going to remember what they said about Zelensky or anything. We're like, oh, well, we did the best with the information that we had at the time, is what they're going to say, even though I had the same information at the same time, and I was like, don't go to war with Russia. Let me pull out my crystal ball, Emily. Where's my crystal? Oh, it says don't go to war with Russia. Crazy. How did it come up with that? Oh, because they're Russians? Oh, well, that's a pretty powerful argument. Anyways, which is a pretty outrageous claim. And here's the thing. And let's talk China for a second. What's in China's best interest? Like, and let's get real for a second. We're doing this to defeat Russia. We're not doing this to help Ukraine and to launder a bunch of money. And so what's in the United States best, and this is hypotheticals, but let's just say what's in the best, like what's the United States doing? Oh, they're trying to bleed Russia dry. In fact, there's a whole bunch of people from the State Department. There's a whole bunch of people in the news who are like, oh, we're going to bleed Russia dry. We're going to have this war to bleed Russia dry. This is great. It's a proxy war. We don't even need our own soldiers to die. This is great. And okay, we'll just keep on throwing Ukrainians in the meat grinder. That's great. That's awesome. They're willing to go. Oh, great. This is so great. We're not losing people, and it's all cost of money. This is great. This is great. This is great. We're going to break Russia. We're going to break Russia. We're going to break Russia. Well, is it in China's best interest for Russia to be broken? Is Russia going to invade China? No. Never. Not ever. I'm not even going to let you guys answer that question. Never. And so what's going to happen? Like you've watched how the United States and the West and the World Economic Forum and whatever, and the big banks and the big Western banks and BlackRock are trying to take over absolutely everything just to have like a monopolar one world government order, Western liberal government, whatever your country's flag is, having the pride flag flying right next to it, and all of you pay taxes to Uncle Sam or the World Bank or whatever it is, and the Federal Reserve, and then we're all like, I don't know, plebs of the globalist order or whatever. So you're China, and you're like, hey, wait a second. So they kind of want to have a unipolar world, and they want us to just be the manufacturing base of it, and they're sitting on top, and I think that after Russia, they might come after us. So I think it might be in my best interest to make sure that Russia survives this conflict. Maybe I can send them some barrels. Maybe I'll send them some barrels, and I'm going to send them some bullets, and I'll send them some artillery. And the people in the West who have been arrogantly screaming about whatever for however long, and also showing their just absolute stupidity. Like, if you believe in our leaders today, I have a bridge to sell you, okay? Like, I'm not sure if you've been paying attention in the last 3 years. You can't trust these people. So, China doesn't trust them either. And so what's in China's best interest? Oh, to bleed America dry? To bleed the West dry? Wait a second. Only we do that to Russia. You can't do that to the United States. That's World War III if you try something like that. And so the audacity of these people is unbelievable. And so now Zelensky's like, oh, we're going to have a peace deal brokered by the Chinese. And then what's going to happen is NATO doesn't want to hear that. The United States, so this new little thing that's blurbing today, this blurby. Zelensky calls for talks with Xi Jinping. Okay, we'd like to meet with them. Xi will visit Moscow. He's going to Moscow. Zelensky said Thursday he's open to talks with China. And so he wants to talk to the Chinese or whatever. And, you know, maybe, well, Brian says he plans to meet with Xi Jinping, follow a peace proposal. So the Chinese are going to set up a peace proposal, but the Americans aren't. Because we don't want peace. We want war. This has all been a joke. It's all but not a joke. It's a scam. It's just a giant scam. And this guy's King Kong artist. Okay, what history is going to say about Zelensky is horrendous. I'm going to go on to Brian Clark's comment, and then I'm going to go in the next section. So Brian says, short of it, Princeton University, where a roommate attends, is recognizing the huge amount of plagiarized material happening, and universities have no idea how to combat it except ask students not to do. So there's stuff where you can feed it into the AI and say, hey, AI, is this AI written? And that'll show you somewhat. Now, if you know like some decent editing and like a handful of things that you could actually get by, you're probably going to be able to get away with ChatGPT for quite a bit. If we're being perfectly honest. But Brian, this actually goes to a bigger problem that we have, which is our university system is collapsing. I can't pull it up for you right now because I don't remember where I saw it. There's something like 5,000 universities in the United States that are in financial trouble right now. Like 5,000. So what do we have? We had COVID. Oh, nobody's going to school. Oh. And then if you don't have the vaccine, you can't come into the United States. All those foreign exchange students, all those foreign students aren't coming to our universities that don't want to get jabbed. And they pay full tuition, by the way. Did you know that? Did you know those foreigners at your school, your teachers' aides, they pay full tuition? So that means those universities aren't getting like the $20,000 a semester or whatever it is to go to an Ivy League school. Well, at the same time, you explode the D&I administration. So you have people doing D&I stuff making $400,000 a year at Princeton. I made up that number, but it's probably true. And I'm not even joking. It's probably true. It's probably true. So you have all these people. So you bloat the administration. So you're bringing in less money. And then you increase your costs exponentially. Well, at the same time, technology is lowering the value of the education. Yeah, they're screwed. The universities are screwed. The university system in the United States is going to collapse. So that's going to be another one of Jacob's predictions, which if you read today's article, you should really check it out. Today's article, Jacob Robertson Substack, or you can also find me at This Is Going to Hurt You More Than Me Substack. Because it tells you exactly what you need to do. Like if you're a young person, if I was a generic young person in the United States of America, I would go get certified in welding. I would go ahead and get a welding job locally. I could be working in a month. Okay, I could be working as a welder in a month. Hopefully they got the good gear, so I'm not sucking a bunch of metal gas. But it's okay, good. I'm doing the welding job. And so then just trying to get a job at SpaceX. Okay, I'll be an entry-level welder. I'll be a pipe welder. Okay, make $18 an hour, whatever. When I'm not going there, and while I'm taking the money from SpaceX, I could also be like, hey, SpaceX, would you pay for me to get more certifications? Or just go ahead and go to night school at community college or a trade school. And so in the evening, go to trade school classes, get a associate's or some other credential in welding. So then I could go from level 1, level 2, level 3, become a level 3 welder. Make $40 an hour. That ain't bad. $40 an hour? That's pretty good. I would totally do that. And so it's like, oh, okay, cool. So I wound up getting enough certs to where it's like, okay, I'm a welder making $40 an hour over at SpaceX. Awesome. And I've been there 2 years or whatever. Okay, maybe I should just go ahead and get a degree in supply chain. I bet SpaceX needs people who understand supply chain. What about a welder from SpaceX who understands supply chain? Would SpaceX really like that employee? Great. Would Blue Origin like that employee? Oh my God, somebody who's actually been welding at SpaceX and they also understand the supply chain management of SpaceX? I want that guy. And so that's what School of the Future is going to look like. It's going to be get a job with a megacorp, foot in the door, anything you can do except for an Amazon warehouse. Don't go there. Don't go to an Amazon warehouse looking to up your career. They're trying to get you to quit. They know how hard they can push you to get you to quit. And yeah, just go to the next. Oh man, I got to move on, Brian. I've been talking too much. But the point is that the education system's totally screwed, and we don't know how to fix it. So, Brian, what we're dealing with right now, and actually, I guess this is going into what I was going to talk about. What we were talking about, Zelensky and blah 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 blah. Our whole system's collapsing. It's not about just education collapsing. It's not about the border collapsing. It's not about like, healthcare collapsing. It's not financial insane. It's all that's what the article Wednesday. If you read Wednesday's article, that's what it's about. Okay, we're going through the biggest culture, like the biggest shift in civilization ever. Bombs are only beginning to fly. Maybe we don't need to go there. We don't need to have like a big world war. We don't need to have a big world war. We could deal with this other ways, people. All you have to do is just stop lying. The only thing we need to do to prevent World War III is somehow to get Washington, D.C. to stop lying to the American people. We're dead. We're all dead. We're all dead. Just go do a bunch of drugs, go have sex, and die. Like that's. But I'm serious. Okay, so. Let's move on, because it actually goes into the next thing. Ow. So there was a failed anti-war rally. And I'm going to call it a failed one. Did you guys hear about it? Did you know there was a big anti-war rally? Tulsi Gabbard spoke there. Propagandist Rachel Maddow had some things to say about her. Let's go to here. So, anti-war protests. So they're all in Germany. So the Peace in Ukraine March. So it's dozens of anti-war, anti-racist, and other progressive organizations have now signed on proper to blah, 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 blah. So, March for Peace in Ukraine. Whatever. And, okay, so look at these crowds, people. Look at those. Look at these giant drop acid, not nukes. These are the anti-war people. Oh my God, look. It's one person deep. Okay, so there's the national... Look at all of these people. Now, let me go show you something real here. We're going to go Google internet search. You don't get to see this Instagram, but you can trust me. There was like 30 people there. Let's do Iraq war protests. Why can't you open... Jeez, dude, Brian, why does DuckDuckGo suck so bad? Just so unbelievably bad. My problem is it doesn't work. Like, I can't even do the search in the thing. It just doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. So... Iraq war protests. We're going to close that. No, you don't get to look at where I am. So let's go here. Oh, wow. Okay, so there's the National Mall, anti-war protest. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not like the other. There you go. There you go. So you have... Like, the anti-Iraq war protests were some of the biggest protests in all of human history, if not like the biggest protests in human history. Like, they were massive. And we went to war anyways, and I think it scared the crap out of the power. And so they're like, man, we need to find a new way to deal with this. We better put a black guy in office. And so the left quit caring. We spent 8 years bombing countries with President Obama in charge, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Okay? And so the progressive left lost everything. They lost all their validity. They lost their argument. They're just like, oh, well, I guess we're warmongers now, or they just shut up and just accepted it. And now they're war hawks. How many people have Ukraine bios? Like, how many progressives have Ukraine flags in their bios, and they're cheering on a war that could lead to a nuclear war? That was totally unnecessary. Okay, the Russian-Ukraine war could have been avoided long before this. But the United States wanted to have a war. Which nobody knows, because everybody started history, like, as soon as the news told them to. Like, I've been paying attention. Like, I was watching the live streams of the Maidan thing. Literally, like, it was back in my apartment. I remember watching it with Ian. Anyways, I digress. Where was my whole point with this? The failed anti-war rally. There is more that I'm going to say here. Oh, wow. 80 miles an hour? Well, what does it look like at 120 miles an hour? Bunk. Okay, that's pretty bad. 160 miles an hour. Oh, wow. 200 miles an hour. Okay, guys, don't drive 200 miles an hour. 260 miles an hour. Don't do... Wow. So, yeah, don't speed, I guess. Anyways, Jesus, that's... God, go away. I'm just trying to... Why is heart attack there? And there, yeah, there's our little anti-war protest. And also, look at these guys. Drop acid, not nukes. I'm actually just going to stop there. Drop acid, not nukes. So this, very serious. This, not serious at all. We're going to do a search, Brian, real quickly for a term. Oh, you're going to go down here because I can't search up in that bar. Neocon. Where did the neocons come from? Which I'm actually surprised. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So, and this is from Wikipedia, and this is actually pretty accurate. Historically speaking, the term neoconservative refers to those who made the ideological journey from the anti-Stalinist left to the camp of American conservatism during the 1960s and 70s. The movement had... actually, that's a little bit not 100% true. The original goal was to reform the Democratic Party from within... So, long story short, neocons came from the Democratic Party. Okay? They're war hawk Democrats. So the war hawk Democrats couldn't get any, traction in the Democratic Party, so they moved over to the Republican Party, and then they became the neocons that you think of today. So you're like, oh yeah, the Bush and the Cheney, those are the neocons, right? Well... Joe Biden seems to be a neocon. The guy loves bombing countries. How many bombs we sent to Ukraine, okay? So and what is a neocon? Neocon's basically American imperialism. America's so great. We need to turn the entire world into a democracy, and we'll do it at the barrel of a gun if we have to. You're welcome. You're all free now. Go vote for the person we want you to. And give us all your money. That's what neoconservative is. Anyway, so the neoconservatives went back to the Democratic Party. And that's why you can't get a meaningful anti-war you can't get an anti-war rally before, because who are you going to get to go to it? Who are you going to get? Are you going to get the Republicans to go? You're going to get the Democrats? Democrats aren't going to go. So you have these guys. You have the extreme progressives, and they're a bunch of old people that looks like mostly a bunch of old people. And then you're going to have okay, there's somebody with an American flag. But for the most part, you're going to have, they're going to be don't tread on me Republicans. This looks like more of the Republican area. But you're going to have, more of MAGA. And so, what is it? It's going to be, a mixture of hippies and MAGA. Hippies and that's your anti-war movement? It'll never get traction. They've both just been so thoroughly... ill-reputed is the term I'm going for, but they've had their reputations trashed. So, what are you going to get done? So we're going to go back to Emily's comment for the day. I'm going to move over here to my face so I can cue her thingy, which is pretty fun. Actually, you're going to love this, Brian. I'll go ahead and show you this real quickly. It's not part of the show, but I went ahead and tweeted this. So what did I do? I posted, I think we should all fight about ivermectin again. And then ivermectin 12 milligrams. Oh yeah, that's one of the things that happened. People are fighting about ivermectin again. That was really exciting. And so I think we should all fight about ivermectin. Ivermectin 12 milligrams online. Liked my tweet and then started following me. And then also said you can go ahead and buy all your ivermectin here. And then I add a bunch of other ivermectin accounts, ivermectin bots start following me. We are at that stage of capitalism. Anyways, let me go back here real quickly. I'm a face in case you see. Actually, I don't put anything really bad on my feed. Bookmarks, on the other hand, I got to watch out for. So Emily, let's go ahead and pull up little Miss Emily's question from today. And she did have a meme. Is there... Okay, here... And so I'm gonna... Let me see. I'm going to pull this up real quickly. I'm actually going to change to a different screen because I already have Twitter perfectly queued. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to download it. Yeah. Okay, no, I don't need to save that duplicate. And so then what I do is I go to Photos, and I got to open a photo. You can see a little bit of my photos, which are all funny. Google Lens, what the crap is that? Brian, what just happened? Did you see that, Brian? I don't even know. What's Google Lens? So Google Lens. Lensy. Google Lens. Search what you see. Go to Google Lens. Not sure how to describe it in words. Okay. Go to Google Lens. Is it that I take a picture of something and I say, hey, Google, where did this come from? And it feeds me propaganda? Whatever. It's cool. It's cool. I'm totally going to use it. So anyway... Oh, whoops. Why did that do it? Oh, I guess that did. Oops. So you might see a little bit of my bad language. I'm going to try to hide it from you guys. There we go. Come on. Okay, fine. I'll do it this way. Gotta figure out how to be clever. Okay. AI that tries to say what it is. Okay, cool. That's what I figured. So, Emily sent me this, which was America's Lonely Hearts Club records 63% of men in their 20s are single, double the number of women. And so her question is there less women, more independents, or more lesbians? And so let's go to this real quickly. So again, Emily, sorry, I got distracted. Is there less women, more independents, or more lesbians? Number one, let's go down the, let's tackle this in order. We're actually going to do a reverse order. Actually, we're going to do this. Is there less women? No, there's not less women, Emily. There's not less women. There's probably more women because of all the men committing suicide. More independence? Yeah, I'm actually going to say that women are probably have the most independence that they've ever had. I'm not going to make that joke. I already made enough bad jokes today. Or are there more lesbians? There are not more lesbians. All the lesbians are cutting off their breasts. And I ain't even joking. What's happened to the lesbian community? The lesbians are dropping off and they're becoming trans men. By huge, shocking amounts of them. Which lets you know what a social contagion this is. Okay? It's just absolutely shocking. So, let's go back there real quickly. And so then there was some comments on... what is the cause of it? Actually, I wouldn't say what is the cause of it, but I'll break this down. I'm just gonna break it down. Americans Lonely Hearts Club record 63% of men in their 20s are single, double the number of women. So I've talked about this before. Can actually just get rid of that, and then I'm going to go to enforced monogamy. And we have talked about this on the show before, because Jordan Peterson talked about it and then got hated because nobody understood what that phrase means. So I'm going to go ahead and do... So what is monogamy? The state or practice of having only one sexual partner at a time. The state or custom of being married to only one person at a time. The condition or practice of having a single mate during a period of time. The practice of marrying only once in a lifetime. And so what is enforced monogamy? Okay? Enforced monogamy, because it's not here, so if you could just trust me for it, sure. If you need to look it up, sure, go for it. It's basically that culture encourages it. So culture is encouraging people only having one sexual partner. Does our culture encourage people having only one sexual partner? No. No, it doesn't. Does our culture encourage marriage? No, it doesn't. So polyamory is all the rage. It's polyamory, so grandma sleep around, okay, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm going to show a funny little video on polyamory, and then I'm going to give you the other side of it, and then I'm going to give you the ugly side of it, okay? So, Emily, I hope this helps. Apparently, I need to reload this again because Twitter sucks. Elon, I'm actually...
Polyamorous. What's that?
I'm not going to beat up on Elon too much. This is pretty funny. This is from Freedom Tunes.
I'm polyamorous. What's that? Well, you know how awesome it is to be with one beautiful woman? Yeah. Well, imagine if instead you and 5 other guys shared a fat one. Huh.
Polyamory explained. You're welcome, Emily. So if that don't sound like a whole bunch of people we know are on, like, it's what about Michelle? Like, how many young attractive dudes? How many like 18-year-olds was Michelle banging while she was married? And so you're gonna have that as one element of it. So that's one element of it. You're gonna have like, and literally, it's gonna be like a bunch of skinny, like those dudes. I'm not even gonna elaborate because everything I say is just gonna get me in trouble. So you know who I'm talking about. You know the people I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So that's one side of the polyamory thing. But it's not. They're not relationships. Okay, so it's just like that's just a bunch of banging. So you could say all those people are technically single. And that's part of it, which is like, oh, well, I can't, get a girlfriend. Actually, we'll go to the other side of it. The other side should have been explained first, which is like, you got alpha guys, okay? Like, and I don't like the term alpha male, beta male, omega male. It's just stupid. It's all stupid and wrong. Did you know the alpha male, alpha beta omega thing is fake? It's wrong. Even the guy who came up with the theory about wolf packs and alpha betas and omegas realized that it was wrong, and he spent like his whole career trying to debunk that like thing that he wound up getting started, which has also happened in the climate change debate, but we won't go there. So, where was I? You got these guys who are just, we'll just say studs. So they look like 9s. Boom, right here in your screen. And they hung like horses. Boom, right here on your screen. And they're awesome. Boom, right here on the screen. And they're single. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, I'm married. I'm sorry, ladies. You got to take me off of this list, okay? And so these guys can just sleep with whatever women they want to. So if you take a look at what's happening with dating, and it's like a lot of the data, if you want to really dig into this stuff, you can look at the online dating data. So what have they discovered? And what they've discovered is that, number one, women are more superficial than men. Okay. Number one. Number two, most women overestimate their worth and most men underestimate their worth. And that's a generalization because there's people who totally have low self-esteem or high self-esteem, one direction or the other. And so what you have are these dudes who are just absolute studs killing it on online dating, okay? Literally every single girl that winds up seeing their photos is just like swipe right or left. I don't know how it works anyways, but they're yes. So every single girl that winds up seeing it. And so this guy's like, okay, so here's my breakfast date, my lunch date, and my dinner date today. Boom, 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 boom. And they have their pick of the litter, and it's all on their phone. I mean, they could just put it into a database. Like, I bet you could, Brian, you and me, here's our $1 million idea. We're going to figure out, we're going to build an application that lets us export all the phone numbers and, messages from our dating app into a CSV file. And then we'll create a calendar for it, and we'll call it Pussy Planner. Sorry for the joke, Dad. But and that's it. And then those guys go on dates and all the time. So that's one thing is you just have 10% of guys sucking up all the women, okay, or good women. And also if they're good in bed or whatever, I can assure you, there's a lot of women who would share a guy who is really good in bed. They'd have no problems with it whatsoever. They'd be like, oh, you mean all I do is have great sex and I don't have to talk to you? Because that's what modernity has done. Meanwhile, they're going to be dreaming about being married and having babies and wake up saying, where's my daughter? And then go back to the lie that they should become lawyers and, never have kids and drink wine all day in New York City. Because feminism's ruined women. It had its place 30 years, 40, 50 years ago. One thing we have is a problem in this country. And actually, I was going to talk about this. And we're going to go back to the Scott Adams thing. Man, this is turning into a long show, Brian. But whatever. So this goes back to Scott. I'm definitely ending in the next 15 minutes. So this goes back to the Scott Adams thing. If I can remember exactly what the point was. So wait a second. There's dudes pulling all the ass. There's dudes not pulling no ass. There's a friction of the ass distribution. Maybe I'll remember the point. Maybe not. So you have these dudes, so you have the dudes who are getting all the girls. And then you have this subset, you have the majority of guys who ain't getting none. So we're going to say 80 to 90% ain't getting none. As a context, okay? Because eventually they're going to get some and they'll have a girlfriend or whatever. But the vast majority. So what are these guys left with? They're left with Michelle. So you have all these guys who have their pick of the litter and they're just having a great old fun time. And then you have these guys who are lonely and desperate for any sort of connection with any sort of woman. They're not going to be picky or choosy or whatever. And so if there's 5 depressed guys all sleeping with the same chick like that, that's that works for the chick, I guess, or whatever, which doesn't. And so everything's out of skew. And you know what this does? This creates school shooters. Okay, that's we have a situation in this country where because of the way... Oh, actually, okay, now I remember what the point was. It was about feminism and encouraging feminism and then the Civil Rights Act and whatever. And blah, 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 blah. You know the bitching about the patriarchy? You know what's such ass about it? What pisses me off so bad? Because, Emily, to answer your question, ultimately, it's that men have been completely left behind. So Ray made a comment, which I won't be offended by, Ray, considering how I talk. But there aren't many high value men, in my opinion, and the reason for that is because society hasn't worked on making high value men since the 70s, maybe the 60s. Okay, where everything's just been about women. Oh my God, the patriarchy. Men suck. Oh, they're white male privilege. Oh, everything sucks. And so I've listened to this my whole life. I'm 42 years old. I can tell you that this conversation has been going on since I was a little kid. Okay, I've been listening to this shit for 40 years. Okay, the white boomer males that women complain about running everything are also the same people every guy complains about. The white boomer male has not retired. Okay, so you have 2 generations of trying to fix a problem because of this one demographic that's still in charge and hasn't gone anywhere. And so you have 2 generations of trying to fix a problem in the wrong way. Okay, you've come up with the wrong solution to the right problem. And as a result of it, men have been left behind for 2 generations. What the fuck do you think is going to happen? The fuck you think is going to happen? It's so much easier for women to get into jobs or get into college or whatever. How about minorities? Same thing. Civil rights, whatever. Okay, so we're trying to fix things, and we were trying to fix things for decades and decades and decades and decades, and we way overcorrected. We overcorrected so far that it might cause a revolution. Congratulations, idiots. I'm gonna go, but actually, I'm not going after you, Emily. But I hope that explains. Actually, it gets worse than that. So let's talk about it a little bit more. The most dangerous society you can have is a polyamorous society. Okay, because what happens? The Chads get all the chicks. The dudes at the bottom don't get none, and the dudes just fighting for scraps get Michelle. 80% of dudes fight over Michelle. Do you think that's a stable or safe society? No disrespect, Michelle, by the way. You're the example that we all know, and I don't think you're watching, so whatever. That's really unhealthy for society. That's a very violent, dangerous, unstable society. In fact, this is where monotheism might come from. A whole chunk of the Bible was just getting people to stop killing each other over blood feuds and what to do about marriage and women. So I'm going to go to Brian's comment and then move on. Monogamy is the way, at least keeping it on the table and not shamed for it. Monogamy is not transphobia. Are there people who say that monogamy is transphobia? Because if they are, it just shows me that those people are idiots. I honestly think this is part of the surge in trans community too. Kids are hypersexualized at a young age, can't get a partner, but they can move to the both sides. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. It's probable. It's in that, sure. I would definitely say monogamy is the way. If you want to have a healthy, stable society, monogamy is the way. And I am a monogamist. I've never been polyamorous. I never liked dating or sleeping around. I can honestly think this is part of a surge in the trans community too. Possibly. I think the surge in the trans community is really, it's like a social contagion. So it's just like the idea of the minute. Like if it was thin-spiration stuff, they'd all be anorexic. Like it'd just be whatever like the fad is. So I think that's part of it. And then they don't have, like, they're not busy banging or having relationships because they're the awkward people. So they're going to go down to the bottom of the list too. So kids are hypersexualized at a young age. That could really screw them up. It can really screw them up. Man, I have got so many bombs to drop. Man. But I'm going to wait on that stuff. The reason being is because, like, my kid's not in a position where they're going to be trying to, like, hypersexualize her right now. I mean, like, they will, but I don't know if it's going to win, okay? We're going to see what happens with schools, but I have a feeling things are going to snap back to the right really, 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 really hard. In fact, actually, I was going to talk about that. So, something I've noticed in my feed, we're just going to call it the right-wing grift, which is basically like, we're going to stick it to those liberals, and those liberals are going to find out what, and those trans people are going to find out what, and we're going to give them what for, and what for, and what for. Like, the people doing all the bitching are the majority. Okay, the majority of the people have finally, like, gotten off their couch. You're like, okay, I'm going to go sit back on my couch, but I'm going to angrily tweet about this stuff. And so, like, after 3 years, well, it's been longer, but after 3 years of this stuff, they're just like, we're done. And so, you know, they're finally like, everybody's getting off, and there's like, oh, there's a lot of money behind this. Oh, there's a change in the air. Which this goes into something that I talk about with Brie all the time, which is like, the changes in the air. Oh no, but the very small people still control our political system, and so they're going to rig the 2024 election, and even as the winds are blowing the other way, and then you're going to have like a bigger surge of people, and so when it snaps back, it's going to be even worse. I don't think a Republican's winning the 2024 election, but let's all hope they do. Where are we going here? So I hope that covered your question. You left, Emily, so I can't talk to you anymore about this stuff. Actually, that is my show. I covered everything. I did it. Brian, we did it. What else do you want to talk about? Want to see what's trending? Oh, here we go. Let's do a little bit of trending on YouTube, and then we'll be done. Or on Twitter. Okay, so we're going to go here. Guilty. I bet they're talking about Trump. Who's going to say they're talking about Trump with me? Turkey got hit with another earthquake. Jesus. COVID. Oh, Kyle Becker. I might follow Kyle Becker. It's like I got enough people on the right who I follow, so I don't need to follow more. I've got this thing where I really try to spread it out. So I do listen to opposing viewpoint. Like, actually, I wouldn't say. I listen to some people I agree with, and I listen to a bunch of people I disagree with. So if you look at my Twitter follows and you're trying to figure out, like, oh, who is Jacob and what's he's about, I'll really upset you. And so Kyle Becker is one of those people on the right, but I follow enough people on the right that I'm not sure I need another voice, or I'd be learning anything new. But he's a good one, so I might be. And this video game looks sick. What is this? The pleasure with deepfakes, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, playing different Trump. Yeah, that thing looks awesome. Guilty. Political ugliness. And it's both sides saying political ugliness. And I'm going to bet it's mostly the right, but I'm not going to get into it. There's, Alan Dershowitz. But actually I do want to talk about the guilty thing. So there is, we're going to get some fake news stuff. We're going to talk about the fake news real quick, Emily. Oh my God, they finally got Trump. They finally got Trump. There's a grand jury. So there's a grand jury about a grand jury that's going to indict Trump about a grand jury. And some girl who's on the grand jury is like, I'm a witch and I want to get Trump. So I said he's guilty. And I'm like, okay, great. Thanks for the appeal, lady. Like, that's done. But we're also at the point where, like, there's some head of a grand jury who's a witch who wants to get close enough to Donald Trump to cast a spell on him. Is this the stage of capitalism we're in? I don't know. Let's see what else is trending. So this is Nintendo Switch is, gaming news. I'm going to show you something real quick, and then we're going to change it real quick. Oh, that's not about a Nintendo Switch. It's not about Nintendo. That's kid just beats the crap out of this teacher. I'm not even gonna show it. Kid, like he could have killed her, beat her so badly. The kid it should be a felony assault. You should go to jail for that. You should actually be locked up forever. Like if you're beating a teacher to death for her taking away your Nintendo Switch, you probably shouldn't be a member of society. Again, going to how we fail males and also the black community and also women. Like so much of the feminism, like hey, we're helping women, is just rooting women. It's like the left just wants to destroy everything. And I don't actually buy the conspiracy about it. I just think everybody's incompetent. But that's my show for the day, Brian. I don't have a high note to land on. Don't be a hateful jerk. Guess that's my high note. Subscribe to my Substack. Everybody, you better be subscribed to my Substack. You better be reading my articles, and you better be sharing them. Okay? Please, for the love of God, help me get out of this digital ghetto that I'm in. And also help me get a career, because my writing's pretty awesome. My stuff's sick. I don't think there's nobody writing like me. Anyways, Brian, take it easy, man. Take care. Take care. Have fun. Have fun. Fun. Under the sun. New Mexico. Is it warm there? Is it cold there? It's cold as tits here. Colder than a witch's tit. It's time for lunch. I gotta go.